Hello there, it's Jen, and it is Friday, October 17th. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining me during my live, or if you're catching the replay later, let me know. I go live here every Friday here on YouTube, every Friday with a Stampin' Up card project, usually a card project, although I have made other things as well. But cards are my favorite, although I am getting into scrapbooking too. So let me know, are you a card maker, a scrapbooker? What are you? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start with showing you what I made last week and do a draw for what I made last week. So this is the card I made last week. This beautiful card here. The camera's just on a little bit angle here. Let me just turn that a little bit. So basically focusing on the lovely designer series paper and those arches. It was inspired by this card that one of my customers gave me, Vilas. So pretty. And so I also showed you another version and several other versions here that have different degrees of layers and stuff. So I'm going to do a draw right now for this card, and all you have to do to be in on that draw is to have commented, liked, or shared the video, and that will get you in my draw. So here we go. Here's the draw, and as long as you're Canadian and not a demonstrator, you can win. So let's see, Beth Nickel, yay, Beth. Congratulations, Beth. I will get this card in the mail to you now that we can mail. And anyone else who I've owed a card to, those are in the mail now as well. So they might take a little bit longer according to Canada Post to arrive, but they are arriving. Okay, so I'm going to pop right to the craft table. I'm going to say hello to Nicole. And Nicole says, can you check the focus? It seems a bit blurry. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do something crazy here. I'm going to rub my camera. I normally give it a little rub before. Let's see. Tell me if that's better, Nicole. I can see that it looks a little fuzzy, actually. It's not funny. Hopefully my phone's okay. Tell me if that looks better. I'm going to give it one more rub here. I did just put some hand cream on before. I think that might look better. Hello to Lisa. I put some hand cream on before I started my live, so I may have touched the lens accidentally while I'm doing that. Okay, so let me just put this card aside here, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing today. I think my computer's over a little bit too, so I'm going to move that just a smidgy over. Okay, so I'm going to use this bundle here. This is in the online exclusives list. So there is the mini catalog, and then there's this additional products that came out. So these are things that are not shown in the mini but are still available. So this one here is part of this suite, which is called Elegant Pines. So it's got all of these snowflakes and greetings, celebrate the season, warmest winter's wishes. It's the most magical time of the year. And they're kind of snowflakes, but they're also like pine branches. So it's kind of a unique stamp set. And it's got, some of the dies are out because I've got them aside ready to use today, but they do cut out all of the stamps. And then there's all sorts of additional pieces, which you're going to see today too. So I just thought it was kind of fun. It has some papers and some ribbon. I actually used this ribbon not this week, but the week before. Do I have that card here? No, I don't, because I mailed it. But this pretty ribbon. But let me show you the papers here. Hold on. They're called Delicate Pines. Elegant Pines Snowflakes. Elegant Pines Snowflakes. That's the perfect name for this paper. It's a little bit better, but it still seems kind of pixelated. That's interesting. I will have to check the replay. It's the lens is as clean as I can get it, so I'm not sure if it's my broadcast, maybe. I'm not sure. So hopefully it becomes, I can see that actually. It's taking a while to focus, isn't it? So hopefully it looks okay on the replay. We shall see. Okay, so this is the paper. It's absolutely stunning. Have a look there close. It is, I'm just looking at the camera again. Oh, there is a little spot on my camera. I can see it. Hold on one more second here. Maybe I damaged it. It is possible it's been damaged, so we shall see. Hopefully it does the job. Okay, so I'll show you the front side first, and the colors in this paper are beautiful. Secret Sea, which is the dark blue-green, Shaded Spruce, which is the bright green, Pretty Peacock, Garden Green, Cherry Cobbler, and Old Olive. So you can really see a lot of those colors, a lot of the greens in this paper here. Beautiful with all the greens. Look how pretty that big snowflake is there. And then this with the greenery, I'm going to use this one here. Hello, Vila. I was just talking about you. This one's lovely too. And this one, actually, the dies would cut out this paper here, as well as this snowflake here, which is also very pretty. And then of course, oh, I missed one. There's two different versions of the Secret Sea, which I think is stunning. One's got the snowflakes and one's kind of got the greenery. And then if I flip them over, of course, you got a more plain pattern, but they're also very pretty. There's the green, that's the garden green. This one looks like it's focusing on the peacock and the Secret Sea, very pretty as well. So it's almost like a whole nother set of papers on the back here that you could choose to use. I think I'm probably going to stick with these ones, but occasionally I do like to do the alternates. And what's also nice, I find, is after Christmas is done, and if I haven't used all my Christmas papers, I love papers like this and this that will work for anything, right? Even that one. So there's a little tip for you. Okay, so let me pull in what I'm going to do here. I've got a piece of old olive. This is going to form my card base. And I'm going to take two of them. I'm going to just add another light to Nicole. That could be part of the problem as well. Hold on. I have so much stuff in my office right now that shouldn't be here because we were fitting my mother-in-law in to our house temporarily till we get her into a home. And so all the extra stuff that I had in the back room is now in my office and it's a little cramped. And it was already cramped. So so yeah, that could be. I wonder if that light will make it better. Okay, so this was an 8.5 by 11. I cut it in half and I'm going to just work with this half. And the first thing I'm going to do is fold it in half. So this is what I call the hot dog version of a card rather than the cutting it the other way, which is like the card I did last week. So that one is cut hamburger is what I like to call them, short and fat versus long and skinny. Hamburger, hot dog, if that makes sense. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, and this is my my favorite fun fold, easiest favorite fun fold. Ready? Just simply take the front of the card and fold it back on itself. And that is a way to make a card fold that's a little bit different, but still pretty awesome. Okay, so we're going to do a fun little thing with that. So I'm going to put that aside. I've got this piece here that we're going to stamp on. Now, it's interesting because the sample that I did, I've used a bigger piece, and I thought, oh, I think I really want that to be smaller, but I never got a chance to make another sample. So I'm going to make it here live with you and hope it works. So I'm going to take my garden green ink, and Nicole says it seems to be a little bit better. Okay, good. I'm going to give my camera a good inspection after too. So these are some of the pieces that come with that stamp set. So I'm going to stamp this. Ink it up well and stamp it with garden green. It's not centered, so I'm going to flip that over, but it's kind of strange, eh? A little bit of gap in the middle, and this is for you to be able to put stuff in there. So I'm going to center this better. There we go. So like that. So I'm going to stamp a few of these. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, this is like so like a swag that you would put on your front door or something. So without re-inking, I'm going to just stamp a couple more. I'll do one more, just like that to get it. So we've got lots of greenery there. Now we're going to cover up that space, no worries. Okay, so then there's this piece in the stamp set, which is very pretty. And I'm going to use that to build my swag down here. So I'm going to stamp one, another one without re-inking, another one, and another one without re-inking. And then we're going to bring that final kind of tail down there. And I think I'll just do one in the middle here, just to kind of cover it up. So it doesn't look that pretty yet, but we're gonna add stuff to it. No worries there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I don't always use it every time here. Well, I usually always use it or almost always use it, but I don't always show it just because it's a little bit of space issue trying to bring it up here. So here it is. I'm going to make my camera go up. So avert your eyes for 1 second. I want to make the camera go up so you can see better. I'm going to turn this like this. And I'm going to pull out this. Now, there are lots and lots of dies in this set. So what's great about that is that you can cut out a bunch of stuff all at once, which is nice. So I'm going to lay this here. Let's see if I can get a bunch of stuff here all at once. It's like a little puzzle here. Okay, so here we go. I've got this leaf thing that I'm going to use. Can you guys see that? You can see that good. I've got, this is nice because it comes with 3 of these greenery pieces, so I can cut all 3 out at once. I'll fix that in a second. There's a pine cone, so I'm going to cut the background of the pine cone, and then I'm going to cut the top of the pine cone, and then I'm going to cut out these little berries as well. And this is real red. So the colors here, this one here is shaded spruce, the darker green. The brighter is old olive, pecan pie, real red, and early espresso. So I can cut those all out at one time. As long as those guys don't jump on me. I'm going to move them apart because I can always add another one. Sorry, you can't even see that. I'll move them apart because I can always do another one in between after. And you can see I'm using a bunch of little scrap pieces of paper here. I save all those scraps for exactly this kind of thing. Hello to Marg today. How are you, Marg? I'm going to roll that through. And because we've got some really intricate dies there, especially with the pine cone, I'm just going to go through again. Oh, it did jump on me, so hopefully it did everything it was supposed to do. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm just going to bring the camera back down again. There we go. Okay, so let's reveal the surprise here. I'm going to get my take a pick tool out so I can poke these out. I'm just going to change the end. Okay, so here we go. We've got I've got a little bowl here of stuff I've started, so I'm going to put it in there. There's the little cherries. You probably want to see them. There we go. Not cherries. They could be cherries. The pine cone. This is, by the way, a little metallic bowl that I got on Amazon. So this one here, it's stuck right in the die. But that's okay, because that's what those little tiny poke holes are for. So you just take something like this, take a pick tool, and just poke it out. So you got this metallic bowl. It's great for when you're working with a bunch of dies. I can just drop them in the bowl and know that I'm not going to lose them until I get a chance to put them away. Here we go. I'll just not worry about that other one because I know I have another one here. This one here, look at all the poke holes it's got. It's to get all the little bits in between. Sometimes you get lucky and it will fall right out. You could also use a brush die, which I have somewhere. Move locations, but there's a few extra little bits there. I'll just poke them. Okay, and then we got this beautiful leaf. Oh, I didn't get all the way through to the end to cut that, so if I had my machine still here, I would just cut right through that and put it back in, but we'll just use scissors. Okay, there we go. Move this out of the way, put those away after. Okay, let's put together this beautiful swag here, all the little bits that I've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is put together the little pine cone. Tell me, have you started making Christmas cards? Now that the strike is, well, it's not over. The postal strike in Canada, in case you're watching from somewhere other than Canada, was on, but now it's still on. It's just on a rotating basis. So at least mail is getting through, just maybe a little slower than normal. So I'm just using the fine tip glue pen here and just putting a few dots around on here. And then I'm going to add that right to there. And just hold it for a second. And I've got that. So I've got that one and I have one done already. And I've got all these other pieces. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. To put this glue pen away, I just find I have to hold one of these wires. Let's see if they show up in the camera. There we go, a wire. And you stick it right in that hole. Then it'll keep that glue nice and fresh for the next time you go to use it. Okay, where's my stamped piece? Right here. Okay, so let's build out our cute little swag. So I'm going to do this differently than when I did it before because I know I need to add the berries last this time. Okay, so I'm going to grab glue dots because look at this, that little thing in the middle, which is perfect if you want to make a little wreath, a little snow wreath. You could put those two things together and then continue to build. And you put glue dots on there, so it's actually kind of perfect. So I'm going to just use that to put a glue dot on and stick it right there. And then I'm going to stick it right on here. just so we have some bit of 3D-ness to this swag. This makes me want to get out my Christmas decorations, but I probably should start with Halloween. Of course, all the stores already have all their Christmas decorations out. And as card makers, we do tend to start our Christmas stuff early, which is why I know you're okay with seeing me do a Christmas card. I think I'm done with my fall cards for now, although there's a couple more I want to make with the little cafe set. So I know that, again, this doesn't look like much right now, but I'm just building sort of the 3D. I just noticed your nails are different on each hand. Well, yes, they are, Vila. I've got black and a white manicure, but then the star of the show on each are here. I don't know if they'll can you see them? The little kitty. Here, I'll go to this. A little kitty cat and a little ghost. These are my Halloween nails. Okay, so, and then I'm going to grab this one, which is Garden Green, and just add that in there for some other color. Then I'm going to add in this little swag here with the old olive. So I tried to pick up all the same colors as the paper. You don't need that many here. And you know, you don't have to do glue dots. You totally could do a liquid glue. I'm just a little messy with liquid glue, so I like to use a neater version if I can. And to me, that's a glue dot. So another way to grab these glue dots is you can simply take the item and press it against the paper like this. So I'm just going to do that. Sometimes it's easier. This is like a wax paper, so it pulls off really easily. So I'm going to put this swag down here. So already it's starting to look pretty, isn't it? Okay, so then I'm going to add my pine cones, and I'm going to add dimensionals to those. So I think one is going to be enough for this. I'm going to start trying to cover up some of that dots and stuff that are there. My chair is very squeaky today. If you hear squeaking, again, I think it's because it's rubbing against the stuff that's all over my floor. There. Now the bow is going to go up here. So and then I'm going to add the little berries. I don't know why I keep wanting to call them cherries. They're berries. Put one there. The glue dots are nice too because they've got a little bit of lift to them. Just make sure I haven't missed any glue dots here. There's one. So I did my cherries, my berries first the last time, and then I ended up half covering them up and I had to move them all around. So that's why I'm doing them last this time so you can see them. So I want to, and I want maybe one over here. So we'll kind of tuck that one under a little bit. So pretty, pretty, pretty. And I've got all those extras. And then I've got this pretty ribbon, which is called Real Red. I'm not sure if it's in the online exclusives or the mini, but it's in one of them. And it's got this sheer, almost shimmery look to it. So I'm going to try to keep that on the front. So of course, when you go to tie a bow, naturally it wants to turn. So I'm going to force it, twist it to turn that way. And the same here, it's wanting to twist and to go the back side, but I'm going to turn it over. I'm literally just manipulating this with my fingers to try and get the two shiny sides out there. Hopefully it'll cooperate. There we go. And then actually this part too, so you can see this is not the shiny side. So I'm going to turn it and hope that when I pull it tight, it holds that position. So it's holding, not too bad. It's a very pretty ribbon, Real Red, with that little shimmer in it. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors, just give that a little trim. And I'm going to grab some glue dots. I'm grabbing 3 there. I'm going to go right up there where those dots are so you can't see them. Now, if I was worried about this turning, I could maybe stick another glue dot under there. I think I will. Just under here to keep that ribbon down on that side. Okay, and I'm going to just rip off that paper because I don't need any more of those. And I'm going to trim this. How pretty is this? Little swag. So pretty. And it worked on the smaller piece of paper. I will show you the other one after so you can see the bigger version. Okay. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot to do, I did little pine cones. Oh, well, we'll have a good comparison. I did some stamped pine cones. Maybe I can fit one of them in here. Let's see. Just because I wanted to have at least 3 pine cones showing. Let me see if I can doctor this and lift this up. Oh, very scary stuff here. And add, because they've got these little stamped versions. There we go. That works. That gives the illusion of at least 3 pine cones on there. Oh, hello, Phyllis. How are you? Those pine cones are so cute. Cute Halloween nails. Thanks. I had fun. I wanted them to be a little bit subtle, but still have some Halloween stuff. Okay, so I've got a piece of garden green here, which is what the color I stamped originally. So I'm going to just put that on here. Now this is very puffy, so I think I'm going to put my tape here instead. And that's our seal, double-sided adhesive that I love. How beautiful is that? That is definitely our focal piece for this card. It is stunning. Okay, so now we're going to come in here with this fun piece. And I'm going to do, I got to think about this for a second, how I did this, right, like this. I've got a piece of that designer series paper, this one here, and I'm going to add it to early espresso just to match the pine cones. So I am going to pull out my liquid glue because I've got a really tight border on here. I did this a bigger, so I want to actually put this on here. I did this a bigger border, smaller border than I normally do. Normally I do 1/4 of an inch. So I get a nice 1/8 of an inch border all around. But this time I did 1/8 of an inch. So I get a 1/16 border. So what happens when you do that is it's tight to fit it on here. So I want a little bit of wiggle room that the tape doesn't give me so that I can get it all lined up. You've got a little bit of wiggle room before it starts to dry. But see that? It's just really subtle, the border, as opposed to this one. See where the border's a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this piece. This is going to go on the inside. Oh, and I have to stamp this too. Okay, so this is the way I've been starting to use the liquid glue, is putting those dots and then using the end to kind of smear it out a little bit. And I find I'm not getting as much glue on my fingertips. So tell me what your glue tips are, because that glue has been the bane of my existence. I know some people love it, but I just tend to always get messy fingers when I use it. So again, I'm going to wiggle that into place. There we go. Okay, so I'm also going to do some other things here. I got to look at my sample. Oh yeah, I did that and I did that and that. Okay. So I'm going to take the old olive, just because when this is here, you're going to see the old olive. So I put a mark on there. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to change my design a little bit to cover up that mark. So I'm going to stamp this. Whoop, wrong one. Wrong one. I'm going to stamp that snowflake there. I think I might have to stamp another one here just to cover up that other little spot. There we go. And then I'm going to take garden green. And I'm going to do this little teeny tiny snowflake. And I'm going to just line it up. Excuse me, if you see my head, how cute that is. You can see the difference between the two. There's a bigger one too. So you can see how you could actually build these snowflakes, which I haven't really done on this card. I'm just using the greenery. So pretty. And then I'm going to take my pecan pie, which is a color of part of those pine cones. And I'm going to take this piece, which is, I don't know what it is, but I think I feel like it's going to make good sort of greenery, brownery, twiggy type look in between all those. So how pretty is that? I mean, you can see you could just do a card with those snowflakes. So pretty, so pretty. And a greeting. We want a greeting. Here it is. And I think I want that with early espresso. What did I do with the early espresso? Well, how about we just use this one? And I'm going to put it down here. Warmest Winter Wishes. Okay. I'm going to close all these up, not because they dry out, but because I will wipe my fingers through them. And that's not a good thing. So they just pull on that little part there, flip them up and close them. Okay, so bringing in everything. I want to make sure my fingers are clean so I don't mess anything else up. Okay, so this one also is quite tight, so I'm going to use my liquid glue again. And I'm going to look at your comments there in a second and see what you're saying. What's everyone up to this weekend? Anything interesting? I have to do some tidying in our house, trying to rearrange all the furniture and stuff to fit everybody in. So that's been, we've been kind of limping along, dust or stepping over stuff. So I think, oh, I've got a little fingerprint there too. I know I should have washed my fingers. Okay, before I go any further, I'm getting a baby wipe out, and I can look at your comments. Those pine cones are so cute. Okay, so there we go, baby wipe. And this is where I bring in my something like this, which is my mono eraser. It's a mono sand eraser. If you go to my website, stampwithjenn.com, and look under products, you'll see this. It's on Amazon, and it's just great. It takes off the top layer of the cardstock. So if you've got like just a little smudge, it's the perfect thing for the little smudges, because you really can't tell that the cardstock has been sanded because it's a very fine grit. Or you can do what I did and just stamp something right over top of it, and then no one will know. Okay, so that's pretty. So the other thing we're going to add to this is I've got a tiny piece of designer series paper, and the piece I want has fallen on the floor. I'll just grab it. Hopefully this is the right size. Not quite. We'll fix it. So I'm going to add this designer series paper. I think again I'm going to use liquid glue just so I have some wiggle room. This is where I get messy using these little wee pieces here. Oh, this is not the right one. Okay, so hold on. It's because my recycling bin is full and there's all sorts of paper on the floor. I really should be embarrassed about that, but I'm guessing that you crafters understand the bits of paper on the floor. This is the right one because it fits. Look at that. Okay, so that was just a little scrap of that paper. So that's why you want to save all your scraps. And I'm going to take my dimensionals, which are right here, and I'm going to add that. I'm wondering probably what I'm doing. I am building a stopper here. Super easy to do. And it just takes that card up a notch. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Adding it right there. I realize this is going the wrong, folded the wrong way. I need to go this way. Okay. All right. So that's going to basically form a stopper there for the card. So now let's put the rest of this together. So I'm going to put this on here. Now what I want to do is I want to put it on here, but I don't want to put it on the top half because I want that card to be able to pivot up like that. So I'm only going to put some glue on the bottom half. So I'm going to do it again right here so I don't accidentally put glue where I shouldn't. And I'm going to lay this on here. Again, we got a tight border. I'm just going to make sure it looks even all the way around. So when the card is closed, you can't tell that there's any sort of special anything there. Just going to hold it for a second. Hello, Beth. Hey, Beth, you won a card. You have to rewind and check that out later. Okay, so now when I open this, it's got that cute little stopper. See that? Isn't that cute? And basically to keep the card open so you can display it if you want to. Okay, so then we're going to add this here, and I think I'm going to add it with dimensionals. Oh, I'm glad I made it smaller, and you'll see why with the other one in a second. So I'm going to add dimensionals to the back of this. No one's told me any weekend plans. That must mean you're doing a whole lot of nothing, which is the best kind of weekend sometimes, isn't it? Next week, though, we do have a concert that we're going to, so I'm excited about that. Roped my son into sticking around with my mother-in-law because she just can't be alone in the house, so he's willing to do that. I'm going to stick that on there. So pretty! I think I want one more glue dot there. One more. And I'm going to tuck that right in there. So you stay down a little bit more. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh my gosh. And that just opens up like that. And then there's still enough room to write a little message there. Closes beautifully. I'm going to add some little gems to it. I did to my first one because I thought there was too much white space. And I'm going to just add these anyways because I've got them here. So I'm going to add a big one. These are, did I pull out the, here they are. Let's see. These are the street dots. So there's a little bit of pecan, I think, in them maybe, and a little bit of early espresso. This one, the little glue dot separated from the dot, but that's fine. You can just shove it back together. Ta-da! Fixed. And whoop, where'd you go? There we go. So pretty. Going out for dinner. Nice, Beth. So very pretty. So let's see. I'll show you the original. So this is my original one. So you can see I've done a much bigger piece on the front. And I'm going to tell you what size that is too, so you know. I know this one is 5 by 3. And so I made this one smaller. I made this one 4.5 by 2.5, and then the next one 1/8 of an inch bigger, or sorry, 1/4 of an inch bigger. So, and then these are all 1/8 inch borders. So there we go. Very, very similar. You can just see more white space on here. What I like about this one, the one that I'm giving away, all you have to do is comment, like, or share, and you'll be in the draw for this next week, is that you can see more of the paper, which is nice. And then on the inside, we do have the 2 elements, and on the inside of this one I just have the 1, and I stamped this one with early espresso, and because I couldn't find my early espresso, I stamped, oh, here it is way over here. Stamped this one with the pecan pie, which also works too. So what do you think of my little pop-up swag card? And that's using the Delicate Pines stamp set and dies. Meeting a friend tomorrow for crafting, and Nicole's going to start her Christmas cards. That's awesome, Nicole. Have fun with that. Planning is always the hard part, but hopefully you've got some planning done and you can enjoy the card. So I hope you enjoyed that. Vila says the card is gorgeous. Oh, hello, Lori Swanson. Lori says, love the colors. Yeah, so we've got all the greens here going on, the old Olive Garden green, shaded spruce, and then they're paired with the real red, and of course, early espresso and soft suede. So yes, I love those too. Now the paper is more green than red, although there is cherry cobbler in the paper, but I chose to pick up the red because I love this ribbon and wanted to highlight that. Lori Swanson says it makes me miss Stamporama. Me too, Lori, for sure. I wish we could do that big event again in Burlington. Maybe someday we will. Donna says she likes the swag on the front. Yeah, I thought it was so pretty. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. I have a couple cards that I got in a card swap from some other demonstrators. So as a demonstrator, what we do is we all make cards. Like you make, if you know there's 13 people in your swap. I don't know why I said 13. That's a weird number. 15 people in your swap, and then you make 15 and you get 14 different cards back. So here are some cards that were made with that same stamp set. So here we go. That's using the pretty gold ribbon. Look at the beautiful stamping on the inside they've done with those. I really love this one here with the different pieces of the designer series paper, and then that snowflake, and then they've done that greenery, with a little hole in the middle, and they've done some white embossing on there, and then some of those pretty gems. This one, they've used a different stamp set, but they use that paper in behind, which is kind of fun. This one here is just featuring that paper, very pretty. And this one here features the back side of that paper, and then the front side, and with some gold, and using the pretty peacock to print through those colors, which is really nice too. So there you go. There's some more ideas with that paper. So that paper was called the Elegant Pines Snowflakes, whereas the stamp set is called Delicate Pines. And in the brochure, so if you look on my website, I'll actually put a link here too, under catalogs, you can see this. This is the Elegant Pines Suite is what it's called. So yes, Elegant Pines Suite, here we go. So that includes all those things, or you can get them all separately too. But so yeah, I really like that stamp set, and I've had it here for a while and haven't shown it to you yet. So I wanted to show it to you. Nicole's just using kits for her thing. That's awesome. Well, kits avoid that problem, don't they? You get to just design and have fun. And Nicole says beautiful cards. Thank you so much, ladies. And if there are gentlemen watching later, thank you for gentlemen as well. And I thank you so much for watching me today and checking it out and spending a little bit of Friday afternoon with me. Always the best part of my weekend. I realize I didn't close my closet door. So apologies. I'll keep my head here so you can't see my messy closet. And I probably can't close it because, like I said, there's new boxes and things in my office that weren't here before, and probably blocking my closet. So I apologize for the mess. So thanks again for joining me. I will be here again next week. And don't forget to comment, like, and share, and you'll be in the draw to win one of those cards next week. Okay? Take care, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye now.